Good morning, America. My name is John, and I am the traditional liberal. So I've seen it pointed out online in a few different places that there are not a lot of men advising other men to be protectors and providers, and this is sometimes used as evidence that men don't want this. I think it's really evidence that most men don't want to tell other men how to live in that vein. This video is not directed at other men per se, but rather at boys and young men. See, boys and young men in our country seem to be suffering from a lack of direction, and a man without direction will never achieve his full potential and may even be dangerous for those around him. Now, I don't have evidence to back this up, but I firmly believe that a solid majority of men will be happier and more fulfilled in a provider-protector role. Not everybody is going to be a CEO or an entrepreneur, but they could be CEO of their family. But you don't just step into this role out of nowhere. When I was in school, I remember specific lessons on critical thinking and decision making, and I'm given to understand that that is no longer standard in public school for some reason. As the great Aaron Tippin once said, "You've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything." But how do you know what to stand for if you don't have good critical thinking skills? So to all the young men and growing boys out there, I know that life is busy and free time is a luxury, but make time to develop critical thinking skills. I'm going to include some free resources for this in the show notes. It's important to stand for the things that you believe in, but it's also important to question the things that you believe in to make sure that they're actually true. After critical thinking and making sure that the things you believe in are valid and true, the next thing that I want to suggest is that you set yourself up to be a provider. And this means having a marketable skill. Retail jobs will probably always exist, but it's going to be very difficult in most places to raise a family on retail worker wages. And I cannot recommend the trades enough. Even if you never own your own carpentry business, you can make a damn fine living working with your hands. And it's satisfying. Building things and fixing things means that when you finish your work, you can literally see the difference you've made. In my shorts on getting out of poverty, I provided some free resources for job training, but there are also apprenticeship programs for the various trades. And as an added bonus, when you own a home, knowing how to do your own electrical or plumbing or carpentry can save you a lot of money. Speaking of money, though, the other thing to consider is cost of living. If you're living in downtown Manhattan, it may be difficult to support a family on one income. When my wife first left home, one of the deciding factors on where she settled down was cost of living. And this was also a factor in where we ended up buying our first home. Don't be afraid to move to an area that will support your goals more easily, especially while you're young and you don't have a lot of entanglements, like a wife and kids. But you also need to make sure that you can provide for your family, even if you can't be there. Get life insurance. If something happens to you, your family should be able to carry on. Be the man that your family can depend on. There is no greater satisfaction that I have ever found. Now, if this sounds like an awful lot of work, be aware that there are perks other than just satisfaction and fulfillment. By providing for my family works for me in a manner of speaking. Instead of having an employer and a 9-to-5 job, my wife works for me. This does give me a certain measure of authority on how the house is run, but it also means I don't have to do all of the running. But that's all I have for you today, so please like and subscribe if you'd like to hear more, and comment below your thoughts on this. Thank you, and good night, America.